Alright guys, it's early in the season. We're going out for smallmouth bass and we're gonna fish our first spot. Let's see if they're on it. They'll probably be hitting minnows, so I'll probably tie up some minnow baits to start, and this should be fun.
Smashing it today. They're really moving fast around this whole thing.
Coming in from the lake.
But it's just like they're cruising around this. They're moving quick.
We just got another one here. This is not one of the biggest of the day, but that's I would say one of the shallower ones. We're catching most of these fish out deep. They're coming up. Right now the water's still pretty cold, so they spent the winter out in the deep water. And as you can see, they're pre-spawn here. It's still early for smallmouth. The water's just under 50 degrees and they spawn at about 60, so they have a long way to go, but they're full of eggs. And what I'll show you here, Crush City jerk, you can glue these up. I like the Ned rig jigs. These are the VMC Ned rig jigs, and when you put them on with the conical bait keeper and glue them up, I mean, up here in northern Ontario we have a lot of northern pike. If a northern doesn't take your bait, they'll last you pretty much all day. I've had jerks, like if you keep retying them every time your line gets frayed and make sure the glue's tight, they will literally last you a day or two on one bait. So good stuff. Anyway, we'll try and catch another one.
They'll bite this.
They are moving fast.
Oh my god. That's a nice one. Wow, that is a good one. Absolutely smashing this thing. Look at that chunk. Smashed the shad wrap elite. They're eating minnows this time of year, which is good because there's a lot of great baits that imitate minnows. Look, right there's a bass 25 feet out. Boom, fire a cast. And I'm gonna walk it right through him. Wow, look at that, is insane. Oh, he's chasing. He's chasing. Got him. Oh. Pike. Oh. That makes a little bit more sense. There we go.
As you guys just saw there, we saw some, well, there's tons of bass over here, so it wasn't, we've been catching them all mixed in through the shadow wrap elite, or the shad wrap elite, I mean. And I saw him chasing, so I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. A little northern. Thought it was a huge bass, but we'll find them in a bit.
Watch this, look at those fish. Reel it quick, get it down, slow down and let it walk. Now I'm just slow rolling it. Oh, cranked it. still out there. That's definitely a bass right there in one of those weeds. There's a good one. Oh, acrobat. Yeah.
So I got one here. We're just picking apart rock structure. So the important thing is to make pretty accurate casts. I mean, they're just starting to pull up a little shallower. And some fish are still out really deep. Some fish are pulling up shallow. But, I mean, that would be a 2-pound fish, but the super thick, beautiful, golden smallie. But one of the key things to this whole setup, because we're fishing small, light baits, is to use a rod that matches them properly. You need to be able to make long casts. If you make short casts, by the time your bait hits the bottom, it's under the boat. So we're making long casts. I like using a 7.4. This is a 7.4 medium light. Lets you throw it really far and have a lot of control over the bait. The other thing is the medium light's important. We're fishing pretty small hooks here. So you want a light enough rod that you can, cast them far enough, but you're also not overpowering. Use a nice light long rod. You can bomb them a long way. And the key to this is to not fish it fast. We're just lifting, letting it swim, tightening up the slack, letting it swim, trying to keep it close to the bottom. If you like to mope or like to hang minnows for bass, walleyes, you know that keeping it just off bottom, moving slow, or however high off bottom that you're catching them, moving it slow and just swimming, it's the best way to do it. Well, when you're casting these baits, the jerk, if they want a bigger bait, throw the freeloader. But it's all about just keeping it swimming slowly, close to the bottom. And this time of the year, when they're feeding on minnows, it's really, really hard to beat a technique like this.
Let's see if they'll eat the bigger freeloader. First cast. Big smallie. Wallowing. Ooh, that's a really good smallie. First cast with the freeloader. Literally. I just got bit off. Wow. EMC head has him pinned.
Just finished pouring rain. It's been a gloomy day. That's one of the bigger ones. Fat as can be. Beauty. We'll let him go. What do you just spit out? That's fresh. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a little life in him still. But this time of the year, the smallmouth are starving. They haven't eaten pretty much all winter. But just in the meantime, that's probably a 5-6 inch perch that a 2-pounder maybe ate. That's awesome. I'll give it back to the ecosystem. So the cool thing about being here in Northern Ontario is we can actually fish for these smallmouth all year round, although there's a season to actually be able to possess these fish. So that's why you see us pulling them out of the water fairly quickly, putting them back. You can catch them as much as you want, but it's only catch and release this time of the year. And the reason that we fish for them right now is because the water's still cold. It's no different than fishing them in late fall as they start to move up. They were spending the winter out, they become more active, and they move up. It's basically the reverse of the fall. And so it's still cold, the water's still cold, and they're feeding. They're not spawning yet though, that's the key. But we like to fish for them right now before they start to bed. The water's still cold, and you can get some big and high numbers of smallmouth. It's pretty good.